One of the downsides to selecting a wireless gaming headset is really price point. While you have some great options with either Sony or Microsoft, those headsets are well over $100. And you can still get some of the alternatives like Turtle Beach, but even then you're still looking at a headset that oftentimes is in that $100 range as well. And that's where brands like Ozeino come in. And Ozeino has released a headset called the OW810 wireless gaming headset for a very reasonable price point. It retails for around $30 American or about $50 Canadian. And this headset offers a lot of the different features that you'd expect from a headset that's well over $100. And in this video, I'm going to go over what those features are, how this headset performs, and ultimately if it's worth spending that $50 on this headset, or if you should save your money and look towards something a bit more substantial. So let's take a look. So to start, out of the box, you get, of course, a bunch of different connectors. So you actually get a USB-C to a audio cable, which I thought was awesome because it gives you the option to use this both wired and wirelessly. You also get the adapter or the dongle to connect this to various different devices. But one of the cool things about this device is that it offers both a USB-C connector as well as a general USB connector, which I'll kind of explore in a moment. And of course, you get the actual headset itself. Now, I want to highlight that this was packaged very well and everything, in my opinion, looks good. Even the box looks good as well. But one thing I do want to highlight is the headset itself, comparative to some of the wireless ones wired headsets that I've tested and some of the wireless ones that I've tested and owned. This headset does feel a little cheaper. It doesn't have the same weight that my Microsoft Xbox headset has, for example, or even my wired Turtle Beach headset has. So just something to highlight. Now, it's not a major detracting point, but it does feel like if this were to take a big fall or something, this thing might crack or break or fall apart. And that is something worth mentioning. Now, as far as the setup goes, so one of the downsides to owning an Xbox like me is that this device is not really compatible with it. Microsoft has their own weird setup with those sorts of things, which makes it difficult to test on Xbox. However, I did test this on my Nintendo Switch 2, as well as testing it on my PS4, my son's PS4, just to kind of see how everything would work. And using it was very seamless. What I really liked about using it on the Switch 2 was that dongle that I mentioned. You just pull it from the side of the USB stick that it's a part of, plug it into the Nintendo Switch 2, and the Switch 2 pretty much immediately recognized the headset and everything worked incredibly well. And same with the PS4, it was a matter of just plugging the USB in and it worked. Now, one of the main features that some people may notice about this headset is it does light up. Now that to me, you can see my home arcade. I got a ton of lights everywhere, right? So that to me, it's a cool thing. It's not a major selling feature to me, but it's a cool thing because you do have different colors and those sorts of things pulsating through the headset. But again, this thing's on your head, so it's not like you're really gonna see it, unless I guess you're using this to stream or something, but something worth mentioning. Now, what I do want to highlight is the comfort level of the headset. I used this for about a week straight for my Switch 2, playing through Resident Evil Requiem again, and my son used it as well. And I will say that this headset feels very comfortable. One of the downsides to some of the other headsets I've tested or used is you sometimes get a bit of fatigue with the way it rests against your ears and against your head. I didn't feel that with this headset, nor did my son, who also did a secondary test on this, report that either. Overall, I felt like it was comfortable to use. Now, getting into kind of the particulars of the headset itself. So I charged this pretty much once, and I've found that my battery life has to be easily in the 20-hour plus range. So I would say that the battery life is actually pretty good, pretty substantial on this device. Sorry, with that being said, I haven't actually charged it again yet, so that's a good thing. So as it stands, the battery life seems to work very well. You seem to get a long play time, I guess, with the wireless headset. And I know my son's been using it when I've not been using it for extended periods of time. He hasn't said anything about the charge yet, which is great. Now, let's get into the actual sound. So, one of the things that I always highlight this in all these different reviews, gaming headsets are obviously different than just general music listening headsets. Now, I know some people try to use them for both. I'm not really one of those guys. I did also test this on my iPhone using my YouTube Music, and it does follow some of the same pitfalls. You don't get the same level of, how do I put this? The same level of like nice warm bass that you get from like good audio earbuds when it comes to music. But when it comes to using it for gaming, this headset really shines. And I really appreciated the different ranges and levels that you got out of this headset. Now again, I would say that this is definitely a step down from my Xbox wireless headset that I have, but I would say for the price range, this delivers some pretty solid sound. And I found myself playing Resident Evil Requiem and really feeling like I wasn't losing out, if that makes sense, in terms of using this versus some of my better, more expensive headsets that I have. And I felt like the general clarity and the general levels sounded good. One of the main things that I judge a cheaper headset on, or cheaper audio devices or earbuds on, tends to come down to, are you gonna start getting a graininess or a distortion when there's more action-packed sounds happening all at once? And with this headset, the answer is absolutely no. I've not had that yet. Even in some of the more intensive action scenes with Leon and Resident Evil, I didn't have that, which is great. And it's really good because even using this on my son's PS4 and us messing around with Fortnite, I felt like the actual audio was very good. I felt like it was very, how do I put this? I felt like I was able to accurately hear things the way I was supposed to, if that makes sense. And so, does this have the same level of clarity and crispness that my, $100+ Xbox headset has? No. But does this deliver at above what I would say its price point really suggests? I would say absolutely yes. So overall, I think this is a pretty solid gaming headset, especially at the price point, and I think it has extra points in the fact that it also gives you options. I really like that you have the option between being able to use a USB-C to an auxiliary cable or use the pack-in adapter for wireless. I think that those sorts of little extras make this a headset that, for the price range, despite some obvious deficits like the build quality, I think it's well worth investing in. Now, with that being said, like I said, the build quality could be a detracting point. If you're buying this for a young child, I would argue that maybe you might want to skip this, because I don't believe, and it's not like I've stress tested it, but I don't believe this will survive big drops, falls, getting beat up like some of the more expensive wireless headsets would be getting. But with that being said, I don't really think many kids are going to be going too hard at getting wireless headsets anyways. So ultimately, for the price point, I think that what Ozeino delivers is very good, and I think you get more than enough features to really justify this product.